Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing great, hope you're all doing well, and that you're all having a fantastic day. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. A lot of people who watch the channel every day are not subscribed. I was like, what is that? You can't hear it, it's dogs barking outside, but the dogs sound like that. It sounded like a horror movie. Like they sound like they're like 140 years old and just could barely bark. That was absolutely terrifying. Where was I? I was just subscribe. Yeah. That. And without any further ado, that was like actual like demonic dog further abuse. Anyway, there's a lot of weird news, like weird news. I guess we've slipped back into the abyss of the cryptocurrency news space, which kind of like plagued us a lot over the course of summertime. So, what's this one? Hold on. There we go. Right, this is very popular news. It's not that it shouldn't be popular news, but for like the 18th time this year, this has topped out as like very popular, like everyone actually cares about this, and I still haven't really figured out why. It's not insignificant. It's just like, okay, the company Metaplanet is back in the news once again. Japanese investment advisor Metaplanet has announced plans to issue 1.7 billion yen in 1 year 0.36% bonds to buy more Bitcoin. People keep calling them the micro strategy of Asia, and I mean it's kind of like what they sound like at this point. MicroStrategy got really famous, question mark, for buying up Bitcoin. But the way that MicroStrategy did it, or is doing it, is that they basically put debt against the company, and it used to be in the form of hundreds of millions of dollars. And now it's like billions of dollars. Like we recently heard from them, this was like 2 months ago. Over the next 2 years, they're planning on raising, I think, $42 billion. $42 billion in some form of debt against the company in what they're calling like their 21 strategy. And you go, well, 21's not 42. And then you go, oh, wait, 21 is 2 of 42. And they're doing it basically because there's 21 million Bitcoin. Ha. So this company's doing the exact same thing. They got popular Metaplanet for buying Bitcoin. Got it. Everyone does that. But they're doing it now that they're issuing debt against themselves as well. And it's like, all right. Tokyo Stock Exchange listed Metaplanet is doubling down on their Bitcoin strategy with the issuance of around $11.7 million of debt of ordinary bonds to fund additional Bitcoin acquisitions. The third series of ordinary bonds, exclusively allocated to EVOFUND, carries a 0.3% annual interest rate and is fully guaranteed by the company's president and representative director, per a note in the middle of November. So usually the MicroStrategy basically says like, hey, give us $7 billion and we'll give you like a 3, 4, 5, whatever percent return on whatever money you've given us in a 5 to 10 year period. So this company is now doing the same. Like that's the news. Like that's it. That's the popular news. They apparently now have over 1,018 Bitcoin, which is a lot. It's a gigantic amount, but I personally don't get it. This is always very popular. Is that a carpet? Is that a magic carpet just hanging off of the... It looks like it's snowy outside. No one has on a coat. Anyway, cool. Wonderful. I hope it works out for them. I assume that it will. They keep doing this like every 2 weeks. MicroStrategy does it like every 3 months. This company's in the news all the time. I think it's awesome or cool, but sure, why not? I hope that people in Japan are buying if this company's doing so, because Japan's economy also is kind of in the gutter right now. Cool. That's one of the most popular news stories of the day, that another company that people for some reason really love right now has announced that they're buying up more Bitcoin. Fantabulous. Okay, let's move on. Also in big news, Goldman Sachs has basically been forced to announce that they have more Bitcoin. The way that it worked a couple of months ago was that we found out, basically, there were very nosy people, not joking, who were going through like SEC files, and they found a lot of the names of the companies who were actually buying from the Bitcoin ETFs. And apparently, if you were buying a substantial amount, you kind of had to like tell the SEC so that you were on their books or whatever the case might be. Goldman Sachs was one of them. I think JP Morgan was also one of them. I mean, all the large banks. We know that all these banks are owning Bitcoin and Bitcoin ETFs, what have you. But the significance here is that Goldman Sachs had to disclose that they bought 83% more than they previously had before. Goldman Sachs has expanded their Bitcoin holdings in BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust IBIT to 12.7 million shares, valued at $461 million US dollars. Goldman Sachs, one of the largest banks on the planet, officially holds actually it's more than that, price rise, $500 million worth of Bitcoin, which represents an 83% increase from its previous position of approximately 6.9 million shares, according to a new SEC filing reported by a company called MAKEOVER. The recent increase in Goldman Sachs's IBIT holdings greatly outpaced Capula Management's approximate $253 million worth of holdings. The firm is now the second largest holder of IBIT, trailing only behind Millennium Management, which is holding $844 million in BlackRock Bitcoin ETF shares. The rich continue to get richer. Bitcoin is a brand new asset class. Bitcoin is incredibly finite. Rich people are making sure that they buy it all for themselves so that there is no other Bitcoin left for billions of people on the planet. We are witnessing the actual wealth transfer. We are watching it loop and happen right in front of us as so many people, even people within the cryptocurrency market, are choosing to not pay attention. And I choose the word choose because we've been going over that for a while. We usually go over that every other day. I told you, I have a lot of friends who were into crypto. When I mention crypto now, they pay me no mind. They pay me no attention at all. Even though I told them to get into crypto thousands of years ago when the prices were basically nothing. What we are going to experience, what we are going to see happen is that next year, when all these countries turn back on their money printers and inflation gets really bad, there's a lot of people who are not holding assets are going to be very upset. I was discussing with a friend inflation, and they were telling me that inflation doesn't seem that bad anymore. Things are so-and-so. And I was lightly explaining to them future economic policies and what it means for the interest rates to be dropping and for other countries to be lowering their interest rates and to be turning back on the money printer and quantitative easing and blah, 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 and all these other things and how this is going to cause inflation to go up again next year. And they were like, okay, cool, we'll see. I think it won't be that bad. And when I told them that inflation within the United States is probably going to hit between 7, 8, 9, 10% all over again, just within 2025, and there was a reason why all these companies are buying up all these assets right now, they couldn't have rolled their eyes more. It would have rolled out of their actual head. So, yeah. There's a reason why all this is happening right now. There's a reason why, as I mentioned before, that these companies are choosing to allocate their money into Bitcoin. Understand that $461 million could have been allocated into housing, into like brand new housing, into stocks, into gold, into silver, into some kind of a foreign asset. Nope. They put that money directly into Bitcoin. And people keep pretending that it's not something significant. You'll see. Keep pretending as long as you want. We'll see exactly what happens to people who have crypto and who have assets in the future as they continue to become richer. You know that it's projected that people who have, that the wealth of rich people and the wealthy is expected to not even double in the next couple of years. It's expected to like 4 or 5x, like the equivalent of like tens of trillions of dollars. Trillions with a T is expected to fall into the laps of those who have assets. That's the Goldman Sachs, one of the largest banks on the planet, has increased their Bitcoin holdings by 83%. And yeah, let's move on. In probably some of the most popular cryptocurrency news, I don't know how to really categorize this one. I saw the news. It is a problem, but it's also, I don't think really that. I think it happens, but not to that degree. This isn't the first time that we're hearing this, but it's the first time that it's really been dramatized into this level. And it's not that I think that someone's lying so much as that people just kind of want attention. Some of the biggest cryptocurrency exchanges are allegedly asking for hundreds of millions of dollars for new token listings. So, years ago, the news that we received and heard from a number of cryptocurrency companies was one of two things. And this kind of started around the time that XRP went from half of a cent to 1 penny. A lot of people were wondering why a number of crypto exchanges had not listed XRP. We heard two-pronged type of news. A, we heard that a lot of these crypto exchanges, for those of you who weren't here years ago, Coinbase started as exclusively a Bitcoin exchange. They later added Litecoin and I think one other coin, but that was meant to be it. We live in a world now with tens of thousands of coins, but that's not how it was. The idea is that Bitcoin would be there. There'd be other coins that would keep like grabbing up the mountain, but would never ever get there in popularity. And Bitcoin would be the only coin listed on these exchanges. A lot of exchanges said that they were more Bitcoin centric, and this eventually became more Ethereum centric when we allegedly heard that a lot of people within the Coinbase area were more of believers in Ethereum than they actually were for Bitcoin. And I assume they were probably able to procure large amounts of Ethereum for 1 cent, 15 cent, 50 cents so long ago. So of course you become a true believer if you can buy up hundreds of millions of dollars worth of it. The other side was we were hearing from crypto exchanges once again who said that they didn't really want to list it because it wasn't Bitcoin, yada, yada. But we also heard from a number of other companies who were trying to get coins listed onto Coinbase. And we heard that a lot of them wanted like $500,000 for a listing, $250,000 for a listing. I don't think we ever heard of $1 million for a cryptocurrency listing. And a lot of coins simply were like, no, we don't want to do it. To their coins' dismay, we never hear about these coins anymore. Apparently, over the course of the last couple of years, and I do not know if this is true, but apparently there were people who were talking about this online when it came to OMI, the OMI, eComi, the coin from Vivi and Co. That apparently, allegedly, once again, this is Twitter speculation, that apparently crypto exchanges were asking for like a fee to be able to list them. A lot of people were saying it was $500,000. Some people were saying it was up to $1, $2, $3 million to get the coin actually listed on the exchange. That was the news that we heard, and it leads to the continued speculation, at least at the time of me making this video, why OMI isn't on any large exchange. People were simply like, just pay the listing fee so you can kind of get it over with. Someone who's very popular or well-known within the crypto space is now alleging that he wanted his coin onto a crypto exchange, but apparently they were asking him for hundreds of millions of dollars in doing so. I'll say this right now. I think that's not true, simply because we would have heard this information from every other new coin being listed onto every other crypto exchange. For the way that it used to work is that there was like an actual doorway. If you were a crypto exchange and you were going to list a new coin, you would tell the public first. If you weren't here in 2017, 18, 19, and 20, what would basically happen is it was like a listing roadmap, and they would say, hey, we have 3 new coins that we're thinking about listing. Tell us what you think about it. The door has been completely blown wide open, and Coinbase and all these other exchanges list coins like water now. There's no real barrier of entry, and this is why we have so many weird coins in all these cryptocurrency exchanges. This person is alleging, and I repeat this once again because I'm going to show you something, and you're going to be like, what? This person is alleging that some of the biggest crypto exchanges were asking for hundreds of millions of dollars to list this coin. When you hear what coin it is, you're going to clutch your pearls because the news also doesn't make a lot of sense. According to Tron founder Justin Sun, Coinbase asked for $330 million in total fees to list Tron. Sun posted on Twitter saying that while Binance did not charge any fees, Coinbase requested 500 million Tron, valued at $80 million, and a $250 million Bitcoin deposit to be held in Coinbase custody. How many coins get listed on these crypto exchanges every week? It's a lot of coins all the time. Don't you think that any of us, how often do I go over the news? Someone said daily. Thank you. Daily, over the course of 8 years, that we would have heard from at least 16 other coins who really wanted to get listed on Coinbase, the biggest exchange in the US, that someone would have cried foul or said, hey, why are you doing this? That's very expensive. We're a brand new coin. We could maybe give you $500,000 or $1 million. We don't have $330 million. He wrote, exactly the same situation with us. Binance charged us $0. Coinbase required us to pay 500 million Tron and demanded a $250 million Bitcoin deposit in Coinbase custody to boost their performance. Lots of respect, but this is simply not true. That's what he wrote on his Twitter page about Coinbase listing and how it's not true that the listing is actually free. Does anyone remember when Tron was actually launched? Here's a thing right here from Masari. Tron was launched in 2017, but didn't really get going until 2018. There is no way on this planet that no one back then had $250 million worth of Bitcoin. Do you expect me to believe that Tron started in 2017 and by 2018, Tron just launching had made so much money that they had $250 million worth of Bitcoin to give to Coinbase as a form of custody? If you had said that they were now charging around $10 million, I would have, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I can totally see Coinbase being like, we need $10 million for the listing, as we are Coinbase. $330 million sounds like such a made up number. It's absolutely insane because Tron also isn't even a popular coin. If we had heard from the people from Solana, Coinbase wanted $330 million from us, I would have been like, oh my gosh, that's a little crazy. And then if we had subsequently heard this from multiple other coins over and over and over, I would have been like, Coinbase needs to change their policy. As it currently stands right now, we haven't heard any of that. There was no way on this earth that back in 2018 that Coinbase was asking the 15 to 20 coins that they listed on their platform for hundreds of millions of dollars. You remember I told you like you were going to clutch your pearls? It's because it doesn't make any sense. This was, however, gigantically popular news. And everyone has been mimicking it and saying this over and over, that this is absolutely crazy, absolutely terrible. I will play devil's avocado here for 1 second. And I'm going to say, now hear me out here. Even if Coinbase is charging a lot of money, it's their prerogative to do so. It's not Coinbase's job to list every single coin that knocks on, well, the door is blown wide open, to knock on their walls. There's so many coins on these platforms. There's also their exchange. It's theirs. They can do whatever they kind of want to do. So they're going to do whatever they actually want to do. However, this goes back to a coin that came out in 2018, and there's no way that I believe any of this. Simon, can I say that name online? Dedick, okay, maybe Dedick, the co-founder of Moonrock Capital, ignited controversy even more at the end of on Halloween, after claiming that Binance demanded 15% of a token's total supply as a listing fee, which is weird because we also just heard it was 0% from the guy from Tron. He said, I recently spoke with a tier 1 project that raised close to 9 figures. After wasting over a year of due diligence with Binance, they finally received a listing offer. Binance asked for 15% of their total token supply. Imagine paying $50 to $100 million just for a centralized exchange listing. Brian Armstrong, the person who was just accused by Justin Sun of charging them a whole bunch of money, tweeted, adding that Coinbase listings are actually free. Drop us a note through our asset hub and we'll see if we can help. So who's lying here? Coinbase said their listing fees are free. Justin Sun said it's $330 million. Simon Dedick said that Binance wants 15% of their tokens, while the other person said that Binance's listing is free as well. The bottom line is, and I say this in the nicest way possible, we don't really need any more new coins. I know that it's cool and fast and fascinating that people want to create these scam coins just to basically pump and dump and leave the market. But if crypto exchanges are, if they're charging money, it probably is like an actual doorway. Is there, we don't want any new coins. We don't need any new coins. If your project is actually legit, here's the listing fee for it, because we don't need any more coins on our platform. The other 340 coins that we added onto our platform, we've delisted them because there's no trading volume. No one actually wants any of these coins. They're also a company, and a company can do as they so want. People keep fighting for company rights, which is a very weird dystopian things. But when companies do what is in their right, people get upset at what they did, which I find to be rather special. So, yeah, this is the only person who's come forward with this. Even the other guy saying that a friend of a friend of a cousin of a friend of a tier 1 project told him so doesn't really make a lot of sense. Very, very popular news. Incredibly popular news. I don't really know where to go from here as far as just logic. But cool. Fantastic. So Justin Sun has been trying to get himself in the news more recently. The last time he was in the news was it before summertime? I think he said that he knew without a fact that China was about to unban Bitcoin. That never happened because Bitcoin's not banned in China. And then he showed his support for meme coins and was talking about how amazing meme tokens are and how incredibly incredible meme coins are. And then 2 weeks later, he released the meme coin. Surprise, right? To no fanfare. No one wanted it. When I tell you no one wanted that coin, the coin fell into obscurity about 14 hours later. So now he's back again claiming whatever he's claiming. There's also an old video for those of you who can find it. Was it Peter McCormick? I don't remember. The guy from the podcast. He went to an event in 2018, 2019. And there's a video of him talking to Justin Sun, looking into the camera saying, and I quote, buy my SHYT coin. He said that 4 times in a row, and the guy was like, what'd you just say? He was like, buy my coin, buy my coin, buy it, buy my coin. And I was like, okay. So as I said many moons ago, Tron has and always will be garbage. It's very weird that people still even think of it as a coin when like no one wants it. No one wants to use it. I find it very weird. If Tron had just been released and we heard this news, I would have been like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. No crypto exchange was charging $330 million to list anything. You know how small the crypto market was in 2017, especially 2018, when prices had collapsed. That's also very popular news. Everything we just went over. So I'm excited to see what the next fiasco is going to be for Tron, because it's always something. Every couple of months, there's always a brand new thing to try and like keep it in the news. Sure. Let's move on. Also in very popular news, a lot of really weird stuff. I told you it was going to be a weird video. A lot of weird stuff today. Taiwan's financial regulator has approved foreign crypto ETFs for professionals, allowing broader access to global digital assets. That's nonsense. This is a really weird fluff piece. The idea is that a lot of countries have figured out. So I'll give it to you this way. A lot of countries, they haven't banned, wink, they haven't banned Bitcoin ETF, like foreign Bitcoin ETFs from doing business within their countries. But the problem is that if your exchange is listing BlackRock and Fidelity's things, the fees and the money are going to BlackRock and Fidelity. So a lot of countries have tried to create their own Bitcoin ETFs, and sometimes they gain popularity, other times they really don't. It's more of it's BlackRock. People are going to be using the one from BlackRock. So a lot of countries have recently allowed institutional investors, very wealthy people, to have access to these ETFs, which is also nonsense because they already had access to them on foreign stock exchanges anyway. That's how it's always been. And even the idea of like allowing broader access to global digital assets, that's stupid. Whoever wrote that, like, go back to school. That's nonsense. People have always been able to buy crypto on Coinbase, on crypto exchanges and other places. We keep getting a lot of this news that the SEC equivalent of these other countries are like slowly opening up their borders and their doors and their windows to crypto. The way that real money actually works, there's no one in Taiwan who's been waiting at the edge of their seat for this to actually take place. Big money, if you don't allow big money to do stuff, it leaves. It goes somewhere else. It finds another country where they can do business. For those of you who've forgotten, when the Bitcoin ETFs for 2 years before weren't allowed within the United States, we had news that there were dozens of companies who had actually gone to Canada. Do you know why? Because Canada had some of the first Bitcoin ETFs out there, and there were hundreds of millions of dollars flowing into these ETFs all the time. So I think it's not even political pressure. It's like money pressure. People see what's going on. It's kind of like all those countries. Italy was recently in the news. I didn't bring it here because it was also part of stupid news. Italy apparently, I think, is lowering their taxation fee on crypto from 42% to like 23%. And I'm like, you know, Germany has a 0% tax rate for crypto, right? You know, Portugal is still, I believe, 0% as well. You know, there are other countries. Have you seen the tax rate in Switzerland? Like depending on where you are in Switzerland. They even have, for those of you who don't know, Switzerland has a weird thing for like an inheritance tax. You know, in some places in Switzerland, the inheritance tax is 0%, or even in some cases, it's like just 1% in Zurich, I believe. Why would I want to do business in your country? Why would I want to store my money there? I can go somewhere else. So you pretending that you're doing something for people who have money is doing absolutely nothing. This would have been great if they had opened up access to every single investor. It's just the people who are professional, the people who are already rich, who are already making money. Why not help out people who are in your country who don't have access to, who literally don't have access to any of this? What was that country that we heard from 2 years ago? I don't remember which one it was. They were very cautious on crypto, and they basically announced that they didn't want people to jump into crypto. You know what that country did? Do you remember? They created a website that had like a multi-point like area where you could go, an everyday normal citizen, you could go and learn about crypto. They had it about Bitcoin. They had a whole section. Learn about Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin? What it does, how it works, who uses it, what it's for. They had another section about blockchain, who created it, what it's for, what you can use it for, yada, yada, yada. What Bitcoin ETFs were, what Bitcoin futures were, all these things. And it was so that their citizens can make an educated guess. Imagine educating your citizens and letting them make their own decisions after they've learned. Anyway, cool. This was also relatively popular news. There's like this mysticism around Asian countries entering the cryptocurrency market that they're going to basically bring it into a new utopia. As we've been going over, a lot of the news about Japan and South Korea making laws and yada, yada, yada. But the cryptocurrency space has been quite popular because people think that basically money from Asia is going to cause prices to, really go high into the sky. So this news is nonsense. A lot of the news that we've been getting surrounding crypto in other countries for a while has just been blatantly stupid, like really bad, like not even like remotely good in any sort of way. There was also some, I think it was Nigerian news, which I don't have here because whatever. Oh gosh, what was it? It was something about one of their finance ministers is talking about finalizing like paperwork to get like companies to do business in Nigeria. Do you remember the last thing that Nigeria did in the cryptocurrency space? For those of you who don't remember or weren't here, they basically kidnapped one of the workers from Binance and said that Binance in Nigeria was laundering money, and they wouldn't let this man go. They had him in a cage for, what was it, like half a year after his family was like, he didn't do anything. Can you please let him go? And then we even heard rumors, wink, from Binance officials who were like, the government was like, they'll release him, but they want $5 million. On what planet exactly are you expecting anyone to do business in your country when we've blatantly, like, there can be like behind the scenes corruption, someone passes a briefcase here, or someone's like, doesn't this diamond necklace look nice? Wouldn't you want this? Oh, here, it's yours. You doing this publicly is like, why would anyone want to do? You go to where the money is and where the money can be made. If you give me a high tax rate, I can go somewhere else. If you make it difficult for me to do business there, I will go somewhere else. It's so weird. And as I said before, last thought, as I said before, the countries who really got it together are going to be wealthy in the future. If this whole Bitcoin experiment works out and Bitcoin goes to $14 million, El Salvador is going to be one of the richest countries on the planet because they realized early, let's lower the barrier. Anyway, awesome. That's really cool. Wow. For professional investors, I can't believe it. That's going to benefit their citizens so much. The everyday normal people people are going to be upset with their governments in the future when they realize that they kicked open the door for institutions. It's kind of like, what was that thing? What was that other country years ago they were trying to make it illegal for normal people to buy crypto, except for companies and institutions. Illegal. Not like a penalty. Illegal. Like, you can go to the slammer if you do it. And I was like, oof, future citizens are going to love that when they realize exactly what happened. Why? Why make things difficult? Imagine if you were the country that educated your citizens on crypto and told them about it and told them what Bitcoin was and gave them news that showed them this is going to be a big thing. We as the government, we would suggest an allocation of $500 into Bitcoin as a just in case. I think that's going to do it for this video. This world makes me very upset. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day. Morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.